There is a shed behind a farmhouse in rural Kentucky. The padlock on the door has not been opened since 1987. The man who owned it died that spring. His grandson opened it last October for the first time in 37 years. He called me the next day. He said, "You are not going to believe what is in here." He was right. Before this video ends, I am going to show you 9 things that every American workshop contained before 1960 that the modern tool industry has either discontinued, rebranded at 10 times the price, or quietly allowed to disappear from hardware store shelves entirely. Some of them are worth hundreds of dollars today. Some of them cannot be bought at any price. All of them work better than what replaced them. If you already own a house, stay with me. Because at least 3 of these things are probably sitting in a shed, a basement, or a garage within 5 miles of where you are right now. And most people have no idea what they are looking at. Number 1. The hand brace and bit. A cast iron hand brace with a set of carbon steel bits drills cleaner, deeper, and more precisely in hardwood than any electric drill on the market. No battery, no charger, no stripped screw head. The brace applies rotational force mechanically through a sweeping arm motion that gives the user complete control of speed and pressure. Furniture makers and timber framers still seek these out specifically because they leave a cleaner hole than any power tool. A hand brace in good condition sells for between $40 and $120 at antique markets. Your grandfather's version in that shed cost him $2 in 1948. Number 2. The Stanley No. 4 bench plane. A cast iron bench plane from before 1960, identifiable by its thick iron blade and heavy body, holds an edge longer, cuts flatter, and produces a smoother surface than any plane manufactured today. After 1960, Stanley switched to thinner blades and lighter bodies to reduce manufacturing costs. The pre-1960 versions became what woodworkers call sweetheart planes, named for the heart logo stamped on the blade, and they now sell for between $80 and $300 depending on condition. Your grandfather paid $4 for his. Number 3. The crosscut handsaw. A properly sharpened crosscut handsaw from before 1970 cuts through hardwood faster and cleaner than most circular saws. The steel used in pre-1970 handsaws was harder and held a sharper edge than the steel used in modern disposable saws. These saws can be resharpened indefinitely by a saw filer, a skill that still exists in rural communities. A pre-1970 crosscut saw in good condition sells for between $30 and $80. Number 4. The cast iron bench vise. A cast iron bench vise from before 1965 weighs between 40 and 80 pounds and holds work with a grip that modern lightweight vises cannot replicate. The weight is the point. A heavy vise does not move, does not flex, does not release under pressure. Modern vises are made from cast aluminum or thin steel to reduce shipping weight. They flex under hard use and strip their own threads within a few years. A pre-1965 cast iron bench vise sells for between $60 and $200. Number 5. The drawknife. A drawknife is a 2-handled blade pulled toward the user to shave wood, shape handles, peel logs, and chamfer edges. It is the fastest wood-shaping tool ever made for rough work. Every farmhouse workshop before 1950 had one hanging on the wall. Almost no modern hardware store carries them. A quality drawknife from before 1960 sells for between $40 and $100. The replacements, electric planers, belt sanders, router tables, cost 10 times as much and produce noisier, slower results for the same tasks. Number 6. The milk paint tin. Milk paint, made from casein protein, lime, and natural pigment, was the standard interior and furniture finish in American homes before 1940. It penetrates wood fiber rather than sitting on the surface, producing a finish that never peels, never chips, and deepens with age. Modern latex paint sits on the surface and begins peeling within 5 to 10 years. A tin of dried milk paint powder found in an old workshop is still usable today. Dissolve in water, apply with a brush, allow to cure. The finish will outlast the furniture. Commercial milk paint costs $22 a quart today. Your grandfather's tin cost 40 cents. Number 7. The spoke shave. A spoke shave is a small two-handled plane designed to shape curved surfaces, chair legs, tool handles, wheel spokes, bowed rails. Every chairmaker, wheelwright, and carriage builder used one. Almost no modern craftsman knows what it is. A pre-1960 spoke shave in good condition sells for between $25 and $70. The curved surfaces it shapes in 10 minutes would take hours with a belt sander and still not match the result. Number 8. The leather strop. A leather strop charged with chromium oxide paste keeps any blade, chisel, plane iron, draw knife, kitchen knife, at a working edge indefinitely between sharpenings. Your grandfather stropped his tools every morning before he started work. The same way a barber strops a straight razor. It takes 30 seconds. It makes the difference between a tool that cuts and a tool that tears. A leather strop costs $8 new. The chromium oxide paste costs $3. Together they eliminate the need for any powered sharpening system. Number 9. The wooden mallet. A turned hardwood mallet, hickory, ash, or maple, drives chisels, sets joints, and seats dovetails without damaging tool handles or marking finished wood. Modern rubber mallets bounce. A wooden mallet does not. The mass of the head transfers directly into the work without energy loss. Every craftsman who uses hand tools keeps one. Almost no hardware store sells them anymore. A pre-1960 turned hardwood mallet sells for between $20 and $50. Somewhere in the last 60 years, a workshop stocked with these 9 tools was replaced by a garage full of battery-powered equipment that needs charging, breaks within a decade, and cannot be repaired when it does. The tools in that Kentucky shed have been sitting unused for 37 years. Every single one of them still works. Not one of them has a battery that needs replacing. Not one of them has a circuit board that can fail. Not one of them will be discontinued next year when the manufacturer decides to update the product line. They are made of steel and wood and iron. They were built to last indefinitely. And somewhere in America right now, in sheds and basements and garages, there are millions of them sitting in the dark waiting for someone who knows what they are looking at. I do not know what brought you here today. Maybe you inherited tools from a family member and you want to know what you have. Maybe you have been buying battery-powered tools that keep breaking and you started looking for something that would last. Maybe you walked into an antique store and saw something on the wall that you half recognized and started searching. Maybe you are building the kind of workshop that does not depend on a power outlet to function. It does not matter which one. The tools still exist. The skills still exist. And the workshop that produced everything your great-grandfather owned is still within reach. If you are the kind of person who believes that real craftsmanship has been quietly replaced by disposable products to protect someone else's profit, you already know what to do next. You go to the next estate sale in your county. You look at the tools. And you bring home something that will still be working when everything manufactured this year has long since been thrown away. Now I want to ask you something specific. And I want you to actually answer in the comments. What is the oldest tool in your possession right now? Tell me what it is. Tell me where it came from. And tell me if it still works. I read every single comment. Now you know what was in that shed. See you next time. Next video. I am going to show you the one cooking vessel that every farmhouse kitchen had before 1940 that heats faster, cooks more evenly, and produces food that no modern cookware has ever matched. It costs $3 at any thrift store. And the cookware industry has been quietly replacing it with products that last 5 years instead of 5 generations. See you then.